All right, guys. Welcome. This is very different than normal videos, but you know what? Here we go. So, I'm still figuring all of this out, and I appreciate all of you that are here with me for figuring it out with me. Um, but yeah, welcome to the new series. So, to kind of explain this, because I don't think it's made the most sense in how I've tried to explain it online. But through high school, I had the video series Hailey's Life Behind the Lens and was super cute, had the intro to go with it, had all the things. And I know I want to get back into YouTube because I love looking back at those videos. And I know that friends of mine who are in the videos like to go back and look at them too. And it's just very nostalgic to look at where we were in the moment and all those things because you might remember things differently than they actually happened. So that's been really great to see. So I knew I wanted to keep that going. And I mean, the last time that I filmed any sort of vlog was May of 2025 because that was prom and graduation, which I uploaded all of that footage that never got posted. So yeah, definitely go check that out if you haven't already. But it's been a while. It's been a long time. So for 2026, I knew that this was something that I wanted to get back into and make happen again. So here we are. Welcome. The new vlog series and series altogether is going to be called Hailey Baete is Figuring It Out. And basically, I'm just going to be talking about all things college, things that I've learned, things that I've remembered the hard way, and all that stuff. So, welcome. Thanks for being here. Like I said, I'm still figuring this out, as you can probably tell, but this is going to be awesome. So I am very excited to get this going. I'm trying to not place too many limits. Sorry, I know I'm looking at my computer because I'm trying to figure out what I'm even doing right now. But I'm still trying to figure out what I want this to look like, but at the same time, not place too many limits on it because otherwise, I think that it'll get too controlled, if that makes sense. And I don't want to put limits on it so early because I want to give it the potential to do all kinds of things. So that's going to be awesome. But for this first, I've completely stopped talking about what I was talking about. So sorry. Okay, that was annoying. Anyways, what I was talking about. The main series that is going to be coming to YouTube and Spotify and all the things is Hailey Baete is Figuring It Out. And that's going to be all things college, growing up. I'm 18, so learning how to be an adult and all those things, which why does nobody on the internet talk about all the things that you have to do all of a sudden and you're expected to know? I don't know. I'd like to know the answer to that, so I'm going to start posting what I have to do as an adult. But as a part of that, I wanted to do what I'm doing right now with the podcast and all that stuff because as fun as vlogs are, these are like video diaries. So that's kind of the vibe that these are going to have too. But the podcast is going to be called Hailey Baete is Figuring It Out Loud. So if you see the same type logo, but it says out loud, you're on the podcast. But for this first podcast episode, because I don't really have a framework to go off of here, because I'm not giving this any limits, we are going to make some goals for 2026. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Um, so I think that the hard part with starting a new year, always for me anyways, is everybody always talks about it like you're gonna wake up one day and be a different person. And that's just not how that works. Like, I don't know if that's just me that thinks that, but I don't think that that's realistic whatsoever. And I think that that's why a lot of people tend to spiral around the end of January, early February, because all of these mountains that they built themselves to climb on January 1st are completely unrealistic, which unrealistic resolutions and goals and all that stuff I know is very talked about, so it's not really something that it's like we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just talking about the wheel and how the wheel is not helpful. It's not helpful at all because there is no reason that you can't build onto yourself during the year. You don't have to you don't have to do all this stuff at the beginning of the year. I mean, I don't know who thinks that they do, but nobody cares. Do what you want. And if you want to change your whole life, like genuinely, not just because 85 people on your For You page said that they're going to change their life too, first of all, no, they're probably not. Second of all, nobody cares. Nobody's keeping track of your goals but you. So make your goals what you actually want them to be. Anyways, that's my little rant here. But I did write down the other day some goals. I'm like really far from the mic, so sorry. That I'm going to try and hold myself to and that I feel like I've done pretty well with, which it is January 6th. So we've got a long way to go. We've got 359 days to keep it going. But you know what? Even if we don't, that's okay because I'm not going to beat myself up about it. So, one goal that I have for myself that I honestly have never consciously like set this out, but it's been very present in my life over the past 6 days in a good way is I want to be more positive. And positivity is let's look at the definition of positivity. I feel like Brittany Roski right now. Definition of positivity. The practice of being or tendency to be positive or optimistic in attitude. That is not helpful. All right, let's go to Webster. Positivity, the quality or state of being positive or something that is positive. You have got to be kidding me. So we're going to go look at positive. That makes no sense. Hold on. Okay, the only definition on this list hold on, wait. What? I really thought this was gonna be like, okay, boom, but it's not. Um, okay, positive, marked by optimism. So let's go look at optimism. Holy cow. They started getting all scientific here. Optimism. This is good. Okay, first definition. A doctrine that this world is the best possible world. Or an inclination to put the most favorable construction upon actions and events, or to anticipate the best possible outcome. That second one is probably where we're at here. So, anticipating the best possible outcome. What does that even mean? I'll tell you what that means, and I might be wrong, but that doesn't matter. You're here anyways. So, anticipating the best possible outcome. I don't know that this is where I've been at because not to get all down here, I don't know that I have had a good track record of anticipating the best possible outcome. I just don't. Because I try to be very logical in my thinking because I do have very big emotions, as all humans do, which that's fine if your emotions are big. They can be what you want, they're yours. But regardless, I know that I can be an emotional person. So I try to act a lot of the time logically because otherwise I know that emotionally I'm going to get wrapped up in it, which I'm going to get emotionally wrapped up in it anyway. So I don't really know why I try to beat around the bush here because I should just do what I want. But whatever. So it's not necessarily that I'm optimistic beforehand. But I've noticed recently that I feel like a lot of things in my life are playing out in ways that are beneficial, which I made that really complicated for some reason, but I didn't want to just say things are going my way. But not to be blunt, they are. And again, not to get all sad and down and all that stuff, but I feel like this is one of the first times in a long time where I felt that way. Because for a lot of my life, which we're not doing a biography, so I'm not going to give you all the stuff right now because no, I don't want to. A lot of my life, a lot of stuff has been out of my control. And as a part of that, for anybody who deals with any sort of force in their life that controls or dictates other things in your life, you know that that can be exhausting, that it's very limiting, that it's hard to know where to go on your own because you don't know what's next. And it's not that you don't know what's next, you don't know what's coming. And it's not that you can't choose one way or the other, but you can't stop what's coming in a lot of these situations. So you just kind of have to wait for it to happen and then influence you instead of being the acting influence. And for the first time in my life, like I was saying, I think that a lot of my situation is in my control. And it's amazing, amazing because I feel as though I'm in a good place with understanding my life, that there's things that I don't know that I know that I don't know, but I'm not as uncomfortable as I used to be in knowing that there's also a lot that I don't know that I don't know, if that makes any sense at all. That I think for a lot of my life, the idea that I don't know what I don't know and I don't know what I'm going to do about what I don't know, that has really terrified me. So, I think this is really the first time that it hasn't. That, you know what? I don't know what I don't know, but when what I don't know comes to the surface, I'm going to figure it out and it's going to be okay. And I think this is one of the first times that I've ever felt that way. And honestly, it's amazing. It's wonderful because I know that I have grown a lot in a year, but I also know that I've grown a lot in 2 years and 3 years and 4 and 5 and 6 and threes in there somewhere. But I know for a fact that I've grown a lot in 3 months. And I'm not going to get into all the specifics right now because some of it I can't yet. But I really like the way that things are going. And I have a lot of friends who are very superstitious, who are probably knocking on wood for me right now. But I don't feel bad about saying that. I don't feel like I'm going to jinx myself or reverse everything twice and it come back terrible. And you know what? Maybe it will. Because I talk about this a lot with my mom and friends and everything that I wouldn't consider myself to be a very lucky person because just of some things that have happened in my life before. I don't feel like luck was necessarily something that I could have said that I had. But right now, where I'm at, it's either luck or it's either me making things happen for myself and it working. And no matter what it is, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because it's working. So I'm going to keep doing that. So back to where I started, being more positive. I think what I should say instead of being more positive is being more appreciative. And as a part of being more appreciative, being more reflective. Because I think that a lot of the time when I feel like things are out of control, they're really not. But I'm too stuck in where I am to kind of see that. So some reflection would probably do me good. But moving on. Not to jump completely, but the third point of the goals for 2026 for myself. I want to delegate my time in ways that improve my life. So, delegate. If you don't know what delegate means, not that I think you don't, but let's just look it up so that I don't lie. Delegate definition. Entrust a task or responsibility to another person, typically one who is less senior than oneself. So that's not really what I meant. Okay, this is a better one. Delegate to entrust to another. So maybe that's not the word I want. I don't know. Well, here's what I meant by that, anyways. I think that for a lot of my life, I have done things for other people, which not complaining because I have free will and I choose to do those things. But I also think that there has been a lot of time that I've wasted. And I hate saying the word wasted because ultimately I didn't because I probably learned something else or whatever, but that I could have used differently. And it's not like I can get that time back, and that's not really the goal here. But I want to be more intentional with my time in 2026 because, like I said, there's a lot of things that are changing, which I can't get into them right now. But if I don't use the time that I have intentionally, then I worry that this change isn't going to happen for me. And it's kind of scary to say, but time is limited. And funny enough, I don't know if any of you will know what I'm talking about, but there's this whole thing on TikTok, which is a huge time waster in my life. So probably need to get better on that too. There is this thing on TikTok that's been going around since I think right before the new year. And it was this video. I can't even remember what the original video was about, but it was somebody talking about how they wanted to track the year better, to be more intentional. And this girl commented underneath that she wanted to have 365 buttons and have a button with her per day to track the year. And it was this whole long comment section debate because everybody's like, what are you talking about buttons? Like pin buttons or like sewing buttons? And they're like, what are you doing with these buttons? And where are you going to get these buttons? And everybody was just kind of like trying to understand, but it did come off very like questioning in a funny way. And I think one of her last responses to this thread was like, nobody else needs to know what I'm going to do with my buttons. Let me see if I can find this actually. Button 365. Okay. So this girl, the original comment says, I'm getting 365 buttons, one for each day because I want to do more stuff and I'm scared of time, so I want to be more conscious of it. Somebody commented, "What is 365 buttons?" She said, "One for every day." Then somebody said, "Why?" She said, just to have, to see how quick days pass and to remind myself that time passes, and I just have fun and to do a lot of stuff." Somebody said, "What are you doing with the buttons every day?" is what they're asking. "Are you putting them in a jar? Are you wearing them?" She said, "Hey, so it actually only has to make sense to me for me to do it, and I don't feel like explaining to everyone else. I don't know, and I don't have to know, okay? I just want to carry around a button every day." And this whole thread, I remember the first time I saw it, I laughed so hard because I was like, what is this girl talking about? Like, why is she getting 365 buttons? Like, I'm so confused. And the more that I've thought about it, I love it because at first I was like, okay, it's 365 of these little buttons. What is she going to do with that? Like, put them in a jar? That's exactly what she's going to do. Because think about it. Okay, you start with 365. You have two jars. This one is all the way full. This one is empty. From the new year, there's already 6 buttons in that jar. Are you kidding me? Like, I do not feel like we've been in the new year for 6 days. But you know who probably feels that way? Tamara, who's been carrying around a button every day since 2026. Like, I think that is amazing. And she's a teenager. Like, this has gone so beyond viral and it just I love it. And let me see if I can find her actual account. It's her at on TikTok is 365 button Z and her name is Tamara. And it is the funniest thing. But it's also not because it's so real, I'm afraid. Like, I want to do this. Like, I want to carry around. But that's the thing. I don't need more stuff. That's not the point. But I love the concept of this because this is a young person on the internet who is being so intentional with their time that they are going to keep up with a different item every day and get a new item every day to acknowledge that, like she said, there's fun stuff and I want to do fun stuff. Okay, boom. And I think that that's really awesome. So, like I said, delegating my time in ways that improve my life, that I want to be intentional. I want to be tomorrow with the button in my pocket, that I don't want to put the button back in the jar and go, what did I even do? No. No. You mean to tell me it's already been 6 days into 2026? Which I've been very productive the past 6 days, so that's not the point. It's not that I feel like they're a waste or something, but oh my gosh. And then when you started getting into the big picture of it, what? You mean to tell me that it was 8 months ago that I graduated high school? Yeah, hey, class of 2025, what's up with that? I I can't even believe it. And then when you start talking about that there's friends of mine who are gonna be turning 20 years old this year, are you kidding me? You're kidding me, right? That these are people that I knew when they were how old are people? Hold on. These are people that I knew when they were 14, and they're about to be 20 years old. I'm so glad that ain't me this year, y'all, because no. No. It's hard enough turning 18. which I'm gonna do a whole video on adult stuff because when you start talking about credit card applications and running your credit score and insurance and going to the doctor, hey, this ain't a joke no more. Okay? This whole turning 18, not that much really happens. You're just an adult to the world. Except that you're supposed to have all the knowledge at once. But that's not what we're talking about today. But I think for now, I want to leave it at those three things: being more appreciative, being more reflective, and delegating my time in ways that improve my life. That for me is top three for now. And there are definitely going to be things that I add on in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, in 3 months. But I want to give myself the time to do it because I hate that every year that rolls around, it's like this, well, what's your resolution? What are you doing? What are you going to change about your life? What if it's nothing? What about the people that are happy with where they're at? Um, Changing nothing, which does everyone probably have room for growth and personal growth and all this stuff? Yeah, but Rome wasn't built in a day, which it wasn't, but that's a joking way to put it. But I that's where I'm at. So I am going to keep practicing those three things. You all can do whatever you want. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited to have this new video and this new series going. I'm hopeful that I'm able to keep up with it with school and these changes and everything else. But you know what? Even if I'm not, it's not that big of a deal. So, I mean, you can only do what you can, and I'm going to do what I can. And hopefully, these vlogs and podcasts and all these things are interesting to you all because I really hope they are because they take a long time. But you know what? Ultimately, I'm making content for me and no one else. So, if you would like, I don't know what platform you're watching this on, but if you would like to go check out the YouTube, that is at Hailey Baete, HaileyBaete. Or you can go find my Instagram where this is all linked at Hailey.Baete. And I'm working on the Spotify, so if this is on YouTube and you want to see the Spotify page, that will be down in the description below. But other than that, I'm excited to get this all rolling. Please give me some grace on if I don't do this all very well the first time. I'm still figuring it out. It's hard to figure out how to transfer all these things because platform to platform, things are different. But I have all the equipment at this point. So now I've just got to figure it out like everybody does. And that's okay because Hailey Baete is figuring it out loud. And I'm just rambling, so I'm going to be done. My camera just cut me off. So glad to know that I can't record podcasts over 30 minutes. But anyways, thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Hailey Baete's Figuring It Out Loud, or Figuring It Out Loud. I honestly can't even remember what I named this thing. But regardless, if you're on YouTube, go check it out on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, go check it out on YouTube. And there is audio and video opportunities for both of those. So, yeah, thank y'all so much for being here. I love ya. I'll see you soon. You don't have to change your life in a week. You don't have to change your life in a month. But you know what? Whether you do or don't change anything, you're awesome. Don't forget it. And things are hard. Things are supposed to be hard. There wouldn't be so many people that deal with crap in their life if life wasn't hard. So, no matter what, you're not alone. You're just figuring it out. And thanks for being along for the first episode of Hailey Baete is Figuring It Out. Thank you guys, and I will see you on the next video.